Welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fifth and final segment, which is going to be going over Kris Bryant and his very underwhelming Colorado Rockies career and just talking about it. So yeah, let's get into it. So the reason I did want to talk about this was it has been something in the back of my mind for a little bit. Sorry about that. Just talking about Kris Bryant and his overall time with the Colorado Rockies now. It has been, I believe, 2 or 3 years now with them. And just talking about, 3 years actually. So yeah, talking about how he has done and just what's going on with him. So the reason I did pick today to talk about it is because he's expected to be placed on the injured list with rib soreness, according to a report from one of the Colorado Rockies reporters. So he will be out again. Second time on the injured list already this year. So that'll be interesting to see. So looking at Kris Bryant's stats with the Rockies, this year he has 101 plate appearances with them, 2 home runs, a weighted runs created plus of 63, and a WAR of negative .5. You also look at his career before that with the Rockies. He played in 42 games his first year with them and 80 games in the second year. So not very consistent, I will say. Didn't actually do that bad with the Rockies to start off. I mean, in 2022, he had a 125 weighted runs created plus. Did get hurt, so kind of stopped that. But yeah, was doing very, very well with them. Started off with kind of proving people wrong. I remember the Rockies were off to also pretty nice stretches there as well. I kind of knew that wasn't going to last forever. I mean, if you've heard me talk on this show, I'm not a fan of this Rockies organization. I don't think they know what they're doing particularly, and I don't really like the direction they go in. I don't really like how they make decisions, but he was doing very well. And it kind of just stopped after that. Was doing horrible. Did horrible last year. Got hurt again. Did horrible this year, and got hurt again. So yeah, not great for Kris Bryant, and just has been so underwhelming for this Rockies team. Now we did end up signing a 7-year contract worth $182 million. So he's there till 2028, an average annual value of $26 million per year. So yeah, long-term contract, and to put it nicely, this contract has turned into a complete and utter embarrassment and an albatross. The process of also signing Kris Bryant has been horrible, and the Rockies should catch a lot of flack for it, and I know they have. So with the Rockies, this was at the time where you had traded Nolan Arenado the year before. You had let Trevor Story go in free agency after refusing to trade him at the trade deadline. I still don't think that was a horrible move. I think getting back the compensation pick was fine, but I know a lot of people feel a type of way about it, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree completely, so I think that overall it's fine to disagree with these decisions. So, of course, the Arenado trade, awful. I mean, we all know about it. One of the worst trades in MLB history at this point. It was a horrible, awful trade that was a clear way of showing the Rockies had no idea what they were doing with this franchise. So your answer to letting Nolan Arenado get traded, letting Trevor Story leave without even a fight, is signing Kris Bryant, a guy who showed clear signs of regression in his last few years with the Cubs, then in his short-term time with the Giants, and also have some injury history. That was your answer. And everyone was shocked when he signed with the Rockies, because we're like, okay, Kris Bryant still can be a productive player. Why would he go to the Rockies out of all teams that don't have much of a plan and don't know what they're doing and are not competitive? But then we saw the contract and we were like, okay, I'd probably do what Kris Bryant did as well. Just kind of following the money, which, hey, I'm all for player empowerment. I'm all for players earning the most amount of money they can. Good for them, and he made the right decision, I'd say. So, just overall, this contract has been just such an albatross for this Rockies team, and it was ready when they signed it. I mean, I remember the Mets were interested in him when he was a free agent. I wanted them to stay away from that, and I've been proved right. I never thought it was going to be a good contract, and going to an organization where they notoriously have no idea what they're doing was not going to end up very well for Kris Bryant. So, overall, looking in the grand landscape of worst MLB contracts ever, this is pretty up there, I will say. A 7-year contract where the guy's always hurt, and when he's playing, he's not doing great, doesn't really have a set position, and the way that you also signed him to distract from the fact that you traded Nolan Arenado and let Trevor Story walk is also going to add into the embarrassment of this contract and what you did. So I think this contract is among one of the worst in MLB history. current baseball, I think it's up there with Javier Baez of the Detroit Tigers, who of course has been horrible since coming to Detroit. I mean, he has been bad. So I think his OPS under 500 this year, which is crazy. So you have Kris Bryant in that situation as well. And overall for MLB history, I think it's up there, honestly. I think when you look at just the amount of little games he has played for this Rockies team, how he hasn't done great these past few years, is looking clear towards regression, and also how the Rockies haven't done anything to kind of help him or make him at least feel like he's on a competitive team. When you're the Rockies and you have Kris Bryant, who probably isn't trying the hardest, you at least want to sign some players or kind of get a future going with him to maybe say, okay, let's speed it up a little bit. You got something to play for now. I'm sure Kris Bryant would attack his rehab more vigilantly if he knew the team was trying or was trying to be good. I'm sure I would as well if I was in his position. But with the way that this team is not good at all, doesn't have many pieces to be happy about, I think there are some question marks about that. So looking at the Rockies and just the future of this organization and just an overview, there's not a lot to like. There are some good pieces here, like Adel Amador, who is a good prospect coming up. You have Ezequiel Tovar, who extended as probably the future shortstop. Isn't hitting the ball great, but still brings a lot of good defensive prowess, and I think overall is a good player for this Rockies team. Michael Togley was called up. I think he's good. Jordan Beck, I think, has a lot of potential. Zach Veen is good as well. Ryan McMahon has really become an amazing player. I talked yesterday about how he was my vote for National League third baseman and the All-Star vote. So there are some good pieces here. It's just you need to also have some good pitching with this Rockies team to kind of have anything going right for you, and you just don't have that. So there are some okay pieces here. Also Zach Veen, someone who has kind of fallen out with the prospect rank the past few years, but I still like him. I loved him coming out of the draft, so I still have high hopes for him. But with this Rockies team, you don't really have a face of the franchise. You don't have someone you know you can build around. Ryan McMahon's a really good player, but it's a question mark even if he's still going to be on this team by July 31st. So there's a lot of question marks about this Rockies team, and just having this Kris Bryant contract, being at the top of this food chain of the organization, just hanging over you, is just another thing that is a negative about this team. It's a negative about this organization. It would be different if you guys just sucked and didn't have anyone on the payroll and could say, okay, you know what? In a year or two, when all our prospects are coming up and we like who we have, we made some good draft decisions, maybe we'll spend finally because we have money. No, that's not the case, because you now have this contract of Kris Bryant hanging over you and being just kind of an albatross there that is kind of making you not spend money. So this year they do have the third overall pick in the MLB draft. So it will be interesting to see who they do end up taking, or who is going to end up being mocked to them. So they could add a top college level prospect, a top future piece of this organization. A lot of mocks have them taking Chase Burns, Braden Montgomery, Jack Cugliglione, who I think will end up being the pick. So all these guys are great pieces to this team, could also end up being up quickly. So there still maybe is some light at the end of the tunnel for this Rockies team with these prospects coming up, with a top draft pick coming in. But still, you have this just albatross contract hanging over your organization, and it's not great, and is something to watch here with the future of the Rockies and seeing what does end up happening with them. So yeah, that is our show today, guys. We talked in our last segment about the Colorado Rockies and just Kris Bryant's Rockies career and how he's done there. So yeah, thank you so much for watching the show today, guys. Remember to hit the subscribe button and notification bell to not only get notified when I upload, but all the other great content creators on this channel do. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. It's a beautiful day outside. Enjoy it. And we'll see you at Baseball's Roadhouse tomorrow. Thanks, guys, and we'll be doing my Friday Power Rankings tomorrow, so make sure to tune in for that. Thanks, guys, and see you tomorrow. Thanks, and bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to